coming up.
Thanks,
Extreme
Kate.
cold warning.
Yes, that's what it's all about, right?
That's
what
what
we've
it's
been talking
feeling like.
about for days, and it certainly does
yeah.
feel extreme out there. You know, we've been talking all about this for a few days now, trying to make sure that people stay safe out there, making sure that their homes are set up to be able to deal with that kind of cold weather.
That's right. Proper attire when you're out in the cold.
Absolutely.
Frostbite can hit in 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Crazy.
That's all it takes, right? And so, you know, we've been talking about, like, you know, obviously when there's snow on the ground, things like that, you could see all that. That's very visual. But cold weather, it's just in the air. There's nothing you can really see, right? So we've been trying to figure out different ways that we can kind of show people just how cold it is out. We have our photographer, Nick, here. We're going to take a walk and see just what things are like out there and try to demonstrate just how cold it might be.
All right, 6 News at Sunrise science class, little experiment this morning. We're going to see how cold it really is outside. Jonathan's got a hot cup of boiling water that he's going to take out there with him. We're going to see.
Absolutely. And so we're going to go take a look, and we're going to step out right here. You know, like we were saying, you know, we talk about snow, we talk about all the things that are very obvious to us to be able to see when things could be in a pretty dangerous situation. This is one of those scenarios where this extreme cold air, these wind chills that we're seeing, you can't really see it. It's not obvious. You can feel it, of course, but you might not take it as seriously because you can't see it, right? So that's what we're going to try to do out here, kind of give you an idea of just how cold it really is out here and why you should be taking a lot of precautions if you're spending any amount of time outside today, any significant portion of time. So first things first, we're doing this right outside of our studio here just because of how cold it is. It's too cold for us to just be hanging out somewhere around town to be able to do this. Right after this, I can run back inside and I'll be all right. That's why I don't have any hat or gloves on right now. But if you're spending any kind of significant time outside, you need to be doing that. The National Weather Service tells us at these temperatures, -11 real temperature in Johnstown, -25 and plus with the wind chill here. If you're spending any significant time outside, you need to have that stuff. National Weather Service says frostbite can hit, like Valerie was just saying, within 15 minutes of being out here. So a good way to show this is we have a cup of boiling water right here that we just got from our Keurig upstairs. And I'm sure you've seen this on TikTok, YouTube, things like that, of people in Minnesota, Wisconsin, so on, tossing it up in the air in frigid temperatures and just seeing it all evaporate. Well, it's cold enough here now that you can kind of see that a little bit yourself. Now, the whole thing won't change over. It's not yet just cold enough for that, but you will see some of the effect here. So take a look at this. So you can see about half of the water there just completely evaporating into the air as we just threw it like that, right? So that's how cold it is. That is flash freezing in action right there. We also did something like this. Take a look at this. We set a pair of wet jeans outside just before our show started. Within 20 minutes, this entire thing completely froze up. Listen to that. So that's another example, just flash freezing in action. It did not take very long for that to be able to happen at all. And lastly, we set just a cup of water out entirely before, and take a look at this. Within 20 minutes of that, this entire cup just frozen solid. It doesn't take very long at all, and that's why you really need to be careful if you're spending any kind of significant time out here today. It doesn't take long for frostbite to set in, as we were saying, and you can't always feel it until it's too late. So remember to stay safe out there. You also need to take care of your home as well. Your pipes, everything that you just saw with all this ice, everything that we're dealing with here, that's also stuff that's going to be going on in your pipes too. So you need to make sure that your house is all set up for that. I'm going to send it back to Valerie right now, and she has more tips on that. In the meantime, I'm going to head inside and try to warm up, and I'll see you back again in just a second. Valerie?